You talked briefly, when we had originally spoken about survival guilt. Can you kind of talk about what that is and then how you've dealt with it?
Oh goodness. um, so survival guilt is basically when you feel guilty for surviving something like that. And right now, well, not right now, but for the longest time, I felt guilty because if I wouldn't have divorced my first husband, if we wouldn't have done that, if I wouldn't have remarried Cody, if, then Cody would have probably still been alive. I
Yeah.
might have died, but Cody would still be here. And that's really, really hard to work through.
Uh, um, I know that you said that your ex had shot Cody in the face. Did did he say anything? Did you say anything to him? Was there, or was that it? That's just it.
He was screaming to get out of the car. That's the only thing
Really?
I remember was he was standing outside with the gun held to the window, yelling at us to get out of the car. And we didn't.
Did you see Cody?
If I did, I have blocked it. I don't have that memory.
Oh,
I'm sure that I did because we were in the car. As I said, we wrecked and he talked to me. He told me to run. And I know that I did. I know that I listened, but I don't have a memory of his face. Thank God.
so he actually yelled out for you to run. He said, like, get out and run.
He told me to run. It sounded off because I
Yeah.
know this side of his face was. But yeah.
So I know, we've talked about, um, when it happened and a few years have passed. And here you are, you're in a home and he left you life insurance and your children are alive and they're healthy. What are you doing for yourself as far as, taking steps towards healing and finding joy, I guess, after this?
Therapy. So much therapy.
When did you finally decide to do that? Is that something you did right away, or did it take you a while to finally say, hey, this is something I need?
Well, it was something that was mandated actually by CPS.
Really?
Since they had taken my children while I was in the hospital to get them back, I had to enroll us all in therapy. And I am so glad that that was the requirement.
Yeah, I'm going to say.
It really made a difference. And I don't want to say how quickly I bounced back because I still, you don't bounce back from something like that, but it really helped me deal with a lot of my more major issues.
Definitely. definitely. So even the children.
Yes.
Wow.
The kids went through a modified version of trauma therapy. And once they graduated, they weren't required to be seen anymore. We still occasionally make appointments if I feel like something's going on that I may not be qualified to deal with, um, which that's happening less and less now. Um, but yeah, therapy.
That's that's awesome. And I actually love that they, like you said, required that because I feel like in my circumstance at least, not to project me on you, but I feel like I would have taken way too long to do that.
If it would not have been mandated, I probably wouldn't have went to therapy.
Yeah, that's what I feel like too.
I don't feel comfortable usually talking to strangers about my issues. I don't feel comfortable, going to a strange place and just being like, hey, this is what happened. Help me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it is in therapy.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. What are some positive things that are happening in your life right now? Kind of like despite everything that you've gone through.
Oh, goodness. Where do you want me to start? I'm writing my book.
Yes.
I'm kind of excited about that.
Wow.
It's taken me a long time, and it's probably going to take me a dozen years to actually get through everything, because let me tell you, that'll bring up some triggers.
Yeah. Holy cow.
I'm going back to school. Actually, I am working on my bachelor's degree in human services and counseling, so that's kind of neat.
Yes.
It also has its own set of triggers.
I bet.
But it does help.
That's awesome. Wow. How does, well, first of all, is that normally a subject that you would have like gone to school for?
I enjoyed psychology when I took it in high school. I enjoyed the psychology class that I took for my associate's degree. It's not a career path I had ever envisioned. I don't feel like I'm necessarily the right person to be helping people with those kind of issues, or at least I didn't. Now maybe I'm a little bit more qualified. But no, it was not something. I have always wanted to be a librarian. Always. Do you see the books?
Yes, yes.
They're
yes.
everywhere. Like I have 11 bookcases in my house.
Wow.
So it was always librarian. I always wanted to work in a library. And I still might. But for right now, this is my path.
Absolutely. Do you see, looking, even just speaking to me now, do you see how your journey could impact and help others?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've talked to a few, there's a women's shelter a few counties over. And I've talked to a few of the women from there. And I'm like, I'm glad that you were able to get out. Please don't go back. Please set up a system, create your new life, because that's not the worst it could have been. It could always be worse.
Yeah.
So we've,
that's awesome.
have to do what we can when we realize that we have these stories that can help other people. I feel like we need to share it so that they can benefit from it.
Definitely. Yeah, 100%. As far as talking at women's shelters, is that one-on-one, or are you in a little group, or how are you doing that?
It's one on one, and it's usually because it's someone that I knew before
Got it.
or someone that has heard of me that's reached out.
Wow. Once you write that book, everyone's going to be reaching out. You're going to have to be doing group after. There aren't going to be enough hours in the day for one-on-ones. Oh, I love that. I love that you're already taking the step towards that, because I mean, what that journey could do for other people is, I mean, it's priceless, really, because you lost somebody. So you'd be saving others, you know.
Yes. Sorry.
That's okay. I totally get it. It happens all the time. So now, looking at you now, how do you decide to show up for your world now?
Oh, goodness. Honestly, just being here.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just all you can do.
Yeah.
Um, Raising my kids the best way that I can. Letting them know that the trauma does not have to define them
Yes.
because I'm not letting it define me.
Yes, girl.
I mean, sometimes that's all you can do.
Yep. And sometimes that's all that's needed. Sometimes that's all that's needed. I have a quote that I got from somebody, I don't know who, but it's sometimes all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. You know?
Exactly.
Exactly. 100%. So, school, books, book, maybe. What's your plans going into the
Just the
next?
one.
What's your no trilogies?
No trilogies. If I can
Ah!
get past this first one, I'll be good.
What do you have going in as far as the next few years? Do you have any big plans for the next few years?
I've got a couple, but for right now, I'm just going to kind of keep those to myself.
I hear you. I hear you on that one. And then as far as looking back,